so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid?
People, you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
What do you get when you interview a congressman who has common sense and can articulate very well what the truth really is as it pertains to what's happening in this country? Well, you get someone called Byron Donalds who goes on to CNN and calmly dismantles the anchor, Dick Cheney, and Kamala Harris in a very professional way. Watch.
Congressman, thank you for coming back. You know about this Cheney announcement. Here's in part what he said, quote, "In our nation's 248-year history, there's never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump." What would you say to Vice President Cheney in response to that?
My first response is I really don't care what he thinks. Secondarily, if you look at the way Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have led the current administration, they suppressed the free speech of the American people. It was the Biden campaign that lied to the world during the last presidential election, using the intelligence agencies and 51 intelligence officers to lie about the laptop from hell. That's something the Biden campaign did. They lied about all the impacts using the COVID-19 vaccine. They tried to use OSHA to mandate 80 million Americans getting that vaccine. They fired over 10,000 soldiers from our military over the same situation. And right now we have a situation where Kamala Harris has lied to the world about the health and mental capabilities of Joe Biden. So you put all that together and then you have this statement from Dick Cheney. I'm going to look at what's been happening with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the threat they are to democracy, not what Dick Cheney's saying.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a masterclass on how to destroy these clowns, because they only tell one side of the story. They don't show the story that Joe Biden has been in mental decline ever since he was running for office, probably even before that. They don't tell the story that the vice president covered it up. Even after the disastrous debate from Joe Biden, she still was in denial about it, and she's yet to come out today publicly and denounce anything as it pertains to Joe Biden's poor performance as a president. And then you take into account the censorship that's been happening on social media, that happened definitely during COVID, the manipulation as it pertains to Title IX and how they want men to be able to play in women's sports. When you talk about Dick Cheney and his ambitions when it came to going to war, and how many people sacrificed their lives for their greed to make more money and to have more power when we're talking about the military complex. So yeah, why would we listen to someone like Dick Cheney, and why would we listen to his daughter? That just doesn't make any sense. Before we continue, this is what I would respect from a Republican. You don't like Trump, you don't want to vote for Trump, fine. That is your personal opinion. But when you come out publicly and endorse Kamala Harris, then you deserve all the criticism that comes your way. The best thing you should do is what the Democrats have been very effective at doing, is they will criticize privately and praise publicly.
Common ground, among other things, you and I agree that laptop should never have been suppressed. I'm sure there's more that we agree on, but still, he's kind of a conservative icon. You're a conservative guy. You must have a response to what he said on the merits.
Look, I will tell you, I became a Republican back in 2010. That's when I changed my party registration. It was not because of the Republican establishment at the time led by Dick Cheney. It was about the conservative constitutional movement wanting our country to live within its means, wanting our country to actually follow the rule of law, and wanting our country not to be embroiled in countless, endless wars. That's why I became a Republican. I'm a Republican who's looking towards the future of our party, not the past of our party. So I respect Dick Cheney and his service throughout all of the decades to America, but quite frankly, he's wrong about this. Donald Trump is the person we need to be president of the United States today, going forward.
I absolutely agree with him. And I'll tell you guys this. I never registered as a Democrat. I had always registered as an independent. It's only recently I registered as a Republican. Now, at the end of the day, does it really matter what you register as? I really don't think so. I think what you should do is be more focused on the issues, right, and vote accordingly. Now, obviously, he has to register as a Republican because he wants to serve in Congress, right? That's just the way that it works. There's a two-party system right now that is obviously dominating the government, so that makes sense. But he said something I want to share with you guys. Conservative constitutional movement. That's what I actually relate to. If you were to take the political quiz on where you are on the spectrum, I come out as a person who values the Constitution over everything else. That's me. I'd rather lean on the Constitution before I lean on how people feel about X, Y, or Z. That's how I am. And the reason why is because that's the way the country was founded. So I think if more people were going in that direction, our country would be better for sure. It would operate better, and our culture would be stronger than it's ever been. The problem, though, is there's a lot of people veering away from the Constitution, trying to change the Constitution, like Joe Biden, who wants to add more Supreme Court or change the term limits or do the loan forgiveness, okay, and change Title IX. It's the Democrats who are looking to change the actual Constitution, not Republicans, right? And I think in this election, we're going to see how a lot of Americans, they're just fed up with the games. They want people in Washington to do their job. And if you're not going to do your job, can you make it look like you're doing your job by giving the American people something that they can be proud of? That hasn't happened in the last 3.5 years.
Give me the 60-second answer as to why she has so easily been able to eclipse President Biden, because I didn't see this coming. I looked at her numbers as being as underwater as Biden's. And if you had told me 2 months ago that she would replace him and catapult to where she is today, I wouldn't have believed it. So how's she been able to get that done?
Well, first of all, if the Democrat billionaires are going to drop almost $1 billion in over 60 days, if the press never gets a chance to ask her serious questions because she hides from the media, and then if everybody treats her as if she's a Hollywood starlet as opposed to a serious candidate for the president of the United States, your poll numbers are going to rise. It would happen to anybody in modern politics. But Kamala Harris has been hiding from the press. She's been hiding from scrutiny because if you look at her record, and if you look at what she has supported throughout her entire political life, it is radical, it is dangerous, it is not the recipe for success in the United States of America. Tuesday night's debate might be the only opportunity for the American people to see who the real Kamala Harris is, because she's been hiding from everybody.
As I said, my question is she going to provide some definition to her views? And my question about your guy is, can he exercise self-control?
Yeah, sometimes when I hear Byron Donald speak, I always wonder, why didn't President Trump pick him as the vice president? Let's go back to his point about what she needs to do in the debate and how likely is it that she's going to do it. And that is define herself. We've been saying it till this point. She hasn't been able to do that. I don't even think she's made an effort to do it. I don't think her campaign cares to do it because they've been riding this momentum since the announcement happened. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Any candidate that they had put forward would have definitely achieved the same poll numbers. In fact, I'm of the belief that if it was a different candidate, their poll numbers would probably be even better, right? Like if you take Josh Shapiro, if you take Pete Buttigieg, you take a Gavin Newsom. I don't like these people whatsoever. Those people are not afraid to be in front of a mic. Right. And I think that is the competitive edge that she's missing. What's been happening is they have put the brakes on her and it's the campaign doing it. Right. So I think that's not going to work in her favor. Now, let me get to my final points about all of this. What's more likely to happen? That Kamala Harris will define herself or that Donald Trump will be very disciplined? You would probably come to the conclusion that the answer is you don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. Because at the end of the day, if Donald Trump falls into the trap of trying to defend himself and he starts to defend his personality, he's going to lose. That is an argument that he will lose 10 times over. Is it fair? No. Is Donald Trump a great person? Yes, he is. But it doesn't matter because this is an election. The rules are not the same. So there is a game that's being played, and his advantage is to get away from personality, get away from her personal attacks, get away from responding directly to the attack she's going to make on him, and stick to the policy and challenge her on policy and challenge her to define herself. Make her take a stance, right? Do a contrast between what he accomplished and what she failed to accomplish. He does that, it's over. I really do believe that. Because I don't have any confidence that she will define herself because she doesn't do any interviews. She doesn't speak for herself. People speak for her. This election is going to show whether or not people are truly awake. And what I mean by that is since 2020, what has happened with COVID, what's happened with our children, what's happened with women in sports, what's happened with censorship online, and what's happened with these foreign wars and the economy. Meaning, if that's not enough to get you to say, hey, I might be a Democrat, I might be an independent, I actually might prefer Democrats over Republicans, I hate Trump, but you know what I hate more? Is that the Democrats have destroyed this country. And they've been in control of the country over the past 20 years. If that's not enough, then yeah, we're going to keep going down the wrong road. And I was telling this to a family member the other day. I said, listen, the thing about politics today is more people are engaged, more people are involved because the people in Washington, they've been asleep at the wheel. If they left our children alone, if they left women's sports alone, if they left Donald Trump alone, and they didn't censor people, you probably wouldn't see me making this video. It really comes down to the fact that they have crossed a line. That line is called common sense. Now, people like me, people like you, we have to stand up and sound the alarm. Because if we don't, they're going to continue to go down that road. And it's a road to the destination called destruction. That's my opinion. What's yours? What do you guys think about Byron Donalds and how he just, calmly went in there and really dismantled this anchor, Dick Cheney and Kamala Harris? I think he's one of the best so far. So I want to hear what your thoughts are and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.